topics we read about in this week's Parsha is that of war. And we're told of 4 categories of individuals who are allowed to leave the battlefield and return home. The first category was a person who had recently built a house but had yet not had the opportunity to dedicate it. The second category of soldier was one who had recently planted a vineyard but hadn't yet tasted from it. The third category is a soldier who had recently betrothed a woman but hadn't yet lived with her. And the final and fourth category is someone who was scared. The officers would approach a person and see that the person was scared and tell that person to go home in case his feelings spread to the others and they too became fearful as well. The Gemara tells us something very interesting about this last category of person. Why was he afraid? He was scared because he had sinned. He was a sinner. And he was concerned that as a result of his sins, he wouldn't have the merit that Hashem would protect him and save him during the war, and that led to his fear. But the Gemara tells us even something far more interesting. And that is that the prior 3 categories were only introduced for the sake of this 4th category, this person who was fearful. So careful is Torah about the feelings of someone else, even someone who had sinned. So concerned. That's why there were 3 other categories. Can you imagine if it was just 1, 2, handful of individuals leaving, publicly seen as sinners? No, here we have multiple people leaving the battlefield. Some going home to dedicate the house, some going to eat of the vineyards or to be with their wives. We see that even in a time of distress, of emergency, of war, when uppermost in our mind should be defending ourselves, defeating the enemy, yet Torah even at that stage, at that moment, says we need to think about the feelings of others. We must make sure we're not embarrassing others, yes, even at a time like that. So the message as we enter Elul, the month before Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, we need to think to ourselves, are we being as careful as we should about the feelings of others, being sensitive to not hurting them, not embarrassing them, God forbid, in public? If this is a lesson of not embarrassing someone even at a time of war, we really need to think so carefully. Are we acting appropriately towards others? Wishing you and yours a wonderful Shabbos.